Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 17th edition of Meira Visi Persada webinar series that is organized by Meira Visi Persada Foundation. And my name is Satya, and I'm honored to be your moderator for today's session. Before we begin, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished speakers. The first one is Miss Cinderella Abella Javier, MA, from City College of Davao, Philippines. And the second one is Miss Gita Hastuti, MA, from Universitas Kristen, Satya, Wacana, Indonesia. And then we also have Miss Sri Wahyuni Sachria, M.Pd, from Universitas Borobudur, Jakarta, Indonesia. Good morning, our speakers.
Morning.
Morning. Okay. We are truly grateful for today's meeting. Thank you. So, today's webinar is discussing about global trends in English language teaching for higher education. And currently, English language teaching is influenced by global trends like digital transformation, student-centered learning, and inclusive pedagogies. It means that these trends brought us new pedagogies or technologies or approach for English language teaching. This webinar provides a platform for educators, researchers, and language professionals to explore the emerging methodologies, innovative teaching strategies, and we aim to share best practices and equip participants with practical knowledge to enhance language instruction and improve learning outcomes in higher education. Moreover, we have an exciting lineup for discussion today. Before we begin, please take note for a few rules. The first one is please keep your microphone muted for the sharing session. And then you might submit your question via the Zoom or Q&A chat box. And we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end, and you may ask your question directly there. To start, let's take a moment of virtual group picture. Invite all of the speakers and participants to open their camera. Can you please open your camera and give your best smile? And I will start the group photo session. Yeah, please everyone open your camera. Okay, I will count later on. Okay, everyone, if you are able to open your camera, please show your beautiful face and handsome faces for today's event. Okay, are you ready, everyone? I will count. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you very much for opening your camera. And now, without further ado, let's officially begin our session today with our first speaker. Are you ready, Miss Cinderella Javier? Okay, so our first speaker is Miss Cinderella. Okay.
Hello. Hello, good
Oh,
morning.
yes.
Sorry you cannot see my my picture, my video, but I am having trouble with it. Can you see my video? Only
Okay,
the background I can see.
we can see your virtual background, but we couldn't see your face.
Yeah, my face. I don't know what happened. Can I off? Can I off? I will just off my video, my picture. Is it okay?
Or you can probably remove the background. Maybe that's better.
Okay, you maybe try to log out first, maybe, Miss?
Okay, we'll try.
Okay.
I
So,
don't
Cinderella, yeah, take your time first, Miss.
Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah, we'll give you like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if happen it cannot see my face, it's okay. I will just fix this one later, but I will just start. Is it
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
See.
Before that, I would like to read a summary or a biodata of Miss Cinderella. So, Miss Cinderella is an aspiring educator with over a decade of hands-on experience in shaping learners. Her journey as an educator is marked by an unwavering commitment to continuous learning and professional development. She has actively participated in a wide array of seminars and training sessions, ranging from K to 12 curriculum planning to cutting-edge evidence-based and innovative approach in computer-assisted learning. Beyond her classroom responsibilities, she is deeply engaged in research and training, constantly seeking new ways to elevate the educational experience of her students. Her holistic approach to education, blending theory with practice, has made her a well-rounded and influential figure in the field. So we also have worked before with Miss Cinderella in our international conference, Multidisciplinary International Conference 2024. Today, she will share her insight on global trends in teaching English for higher education in abroad session. So, Miss Cinderella, the screen is yours.
Yes. Okay. Hello, sorry for my background. You cannot see my face right now. It's because I'm having trouble with my video, but then again, the show must go on. But before anything else, it's my honor also to be part of this global trends in English language teaching for higher education, to be part or for being a speaker. And also, I would like to acknowledge also Dr. Meida Rachmawati, the facilitator of this event, for having me as a speaker. And also, good morning to the participants of this webinar. I am Cinderella Javier from the City College of Davao, Philippines. So today I will allow me to share a presentation of my PowerPoint. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, once again, good morning. I am Cinderella Javier from the City College of Davao, but I am comfortable if you can call me Cindy for short. Okay. But before anything else, before I will going to proceed my presentation, I would like to ask first a motivational question. I usually do this one in my students when I am conducting an A class in the higher education. So first things first, the motivational activity serves as a hint of my discussion this morning. So let's start. So just a trivia question. So how many countries around the world? Let's use an interactive participation. You can use the chat box in the Zoom so that you can write down your answer. Okay. Again, how many countries around the world? Okay, if there are some students who are joining right now, you can answer. Okay, but the answer is for a while. Okay, there are, just a trivia question. There are 95 countries around the world. Okay, next question. How many languages around the world? Okay, question. The answer is 7,000 languages spoken around the world. So there are comprised with different countries. Okay, next question is that, okay, what language or the universal language is being used? I can see somebody is answering right now. I see. Okay, very good. Okay, the correct answer is, okay, yeah, you're right. It's English language. And I know there are a lot of educators who are attending this webinar right now. So my another question, last question is that, as an educator and a catalyst of change, what makes teaching more effective to make your students a globally competitive graduates? Okay, this question is for the teacher. To make more your students a globally competitive graduates, okay, what are you going to do? Okay, and that is, okay, integrating English in your, okay, subject, or strengthen more in teaching English. It's because today my topic is all about global trends in English language teaching for higher education. Okay, first is, okay, we are going to explore the evolving landscape of English language teaching, or the ELT, in higher education. Understand the significance of adapting the global trends, and also discussing the impact of globalization in language learning. In the ever-evolving global landscape, the teaching of English as a second foreign language has become a crucial area of focus in higher education. English has solidified its status as a global lingua franca, with increasing demand for proficiency in the language across various such as business, science, technology, and culture. So English, or the ELT, in higher education institutions around the world has thus undergone significant transformations in the response to changes in technology, pedagogy, and societal needs. So in this seminar, several key global trends shaping the field of English language teaching in higher education, addressing innovative methodologies, emerging teaching tools, and global shifts in global practices. Okay, first trend, okay, we identify the first trend is the technology integration. So what does it mean? Oops, for a while. Okay, first is the rise of the online learning platforms and digital resources. The next one is the use of multimedia tools in or to enhance language acquisition. And there's a question, how technology facilitates personalized learning experiences. So the integration of technology in English language teaching has become one of the most prominent trends in higher education. The use of digital tools such as online learning platforms, multimedia resources, virtual classrooms such as Google Classrooms, and language learning apps has expanded the scope and accessibility of ELT. Technology offers a more personalized learning experience where students can engage with materials at their own pace and receive immediate feedbacks. And also, additionally, it encourages the use of authentic materials like podcasts, videos, and online articles, or which provide learners with real-world language exposure. So like virtual exchanges, e-learning platforms, or the MOOCs. Are you familiar with that? Or the massive open online courses. So there are some colleges that opens an MOOC. So even if, okay, you are studying in the Philippines and then you are studying in abroad, you can, okay, do some online courses without going into that places. Also facilitate language learning for students globally, breaking down geographical barriers. Okay, another example is that in the Philippines, okay, there are a lot of English teachers that offers an a tutorial services and teaching English language in different countries, like specifically in Asia. There are some Filipino teachers that teach English language in the country of Korea, China, Vietnam. Okay, online tutoring. Okay, next one is another trend is the communicative language teaching, or the CLT. So when we say communicative language teaching, what does it mean? Okay, my PowerPoint. Okay. Focus on real life communication skills rather than rote memorization. So this is one of the highlights of the communicative language teaching. It focuses on real life communication skills rather than rote communication. Like, for example, asking your students in terms of their experiences, in terms of their reflections with regards to a certain topics. That could be an A, communicative language teaching. Okay. Next one is the emphasis on student interaction and collaboration. In teaching in the higher education, it is also necessary or productive if you conduct a student interaction and collaboration. It is not only like focusing into teacher discussion, but involving the students. For example, a teacher, student-centered relationship, or minimal discussion from the teacher and then from the students, or sharing of the students. That's what I did in my class as an A instructor. A minimal discussion from the teacher and then goes to the interaction with the students. Okay, that concludes the communicative language teaching. Another one is how CLT prepares students for global communication challenges. It's because in this era, we have to mold our students in terms how to become a globally competitive graduate. So in our school, it is included in our vision and mission to make our students become globally competitive graduates. In what ways? We do have computer programming students in our, we offer computer programming courses in our school. So what we did is that we engage our students in terms of the globalizations, like, for example, attending an international seminar that includes an computer programming or globalization. And another one is that they are free to create an output that can make them, or what makes it to become a globally competitive students. So in this, communicative language teaching, or the CLT, remains one of the central methodologies in ELT in higher education, or the CLT focuses on enabling students to communicate effectively in real-life situations rather than simply mastering grammar rules. So, as what I have said, in the interaction or the collaboration of the students, it gives the students more competitive, and also, the self-esteem of those students, even if they are not good in English. But then again, learning is a process. When we say process, it doesn't mean that when you teach English into your students, it can easily get as fast as a second that they can learn the proper way or the grammar. It is a process. So by engaging the students in every discussion of your class, in your lesson, the students can learn to become more competitive in speaking in English. And the CLT focuses in enabling students to communicate effectively in real-life situation rather than simply mastering grammar rules. This approach also simply emphasizes interactive activities such as role plays, discussions, and problem-solving tasks, allowing students to use language in context. So in my example of this, I conduct an role play with my students, or reporting and allowing my students to speak in English. even if there are some students that they cannot speak in English, but I let them try to speak in English so that it will develop also their confidence in speaking. And then the CLT encourages fluency over accuracy and promotes the development of both receptive and productive skills. The focus on communication has adapted to the realities of global interconnectedness, which increase attention on intercultural communication and pragmatic usage of language in diverse environments. So another example of this in my school is that we are comprised of students with different languages or ethnic groups in respect to that. So what I did is that aside from we are using the Filipino language, we are using the English language. Okay, I let our nursery rhymes translated into their different.
Oh, I think that Miss Cinderella is having technical troubles.
Hello, sorry for the interruption of my internet connection. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, no worries, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. Okay, next is the task-based language teaching. Okay, what does it mean when we say task-based language teaching? Okay, first is oops. What happened to my slides? Okay. Sorry. Okay, the first is the learning through meaningful tasks that mimic real-world situations. And then the second one is encouraging critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And examples of tasks that can be implemented in the classroom. So the first one is meaningful tasks that mimic real world situations. So what are those examples that you are going to engage with your students in terms of meaningful tasks that mimic real world situations? So one example of this that I can conclude is that we do have a community extension services wherein, okay, the schools, it is a compulsory that the school has a linkages in different areas, okay, or the adopted school. So in this last December, my students, it's because I am a instructor in the early childhood education. So my focus is to mold future kindergarten education students. So what we did is that we went into areas and a rural area with different ethnic groups, and then the students offered a numeracy and literacy program to those students, preschoolers, ages 5 years old. They teach stories, reading, and dancing with that. So after that one, I asked my students, "What have you learned?" It's because when you teach education into your students, it does not only focus into theories, but you have to expose your students to the real world situations for them also to analyze and to internalize that learning is not only on theories according to the educationists and blah blah blah, but also it is a real world situation, meaning to say, uh, being a preschool students, what can they learn when they are going outside in the four corners of the classroom? So that is one example of learning through meaningful tasks that mimic real world situations. Next is encouraging critical thinking and problem skills. Okay, asking questions into your students, or we call that one HOTS question. Are you familiar with the HOTS question? The higher order thinking skills question. Asking questions to those students for them also to internalize and to share some insights with regards to your topics. And another one is the examples of tasks that can be implemented in the classroom. So like examples, the activities, okay, or anything. Okay, another one is that TBLT is an approach that prioritizes the completion of meaningful tasks as the central unit of instruction. These tasks reflect the real-world language use, such as giving presentations, negotiating, or writing reports. So in this way, it developed the writing, develop the construction of writing of the students. And then TBLT, as what I have said a while ago, it's a student-centered approach and focuses on authentic language use rather than an abstract drill. So meaning to say, when we say student-centered, okay, the lesser the discussion of the teacher, but more likely the involvement of the students or the participation of the students. Okay, next one is by engaging in this task that mirror actual professional or academic situations. Students develop language skills that are both practical and transferable. So another trend is number 4 trend is the English for specific purposes, or the ESP trend. Okay, what does it mean when we say English for specific purposes? Okay, my PowerPoint takes too long. Keep on pressing on it, but it's okay. Okay, next one is tailoring language. Again, when we say English for specific purposes, tailoring language instructions to specific fields or professionals. Next one is the importance of teaching relevant vocabulary and skills. And another one is that how ESP meets the needs of diverse students in population. So when we say ES, or English for specific purposes, English for specific purposes refers to teaching English tailored to the specific needs of learners in professional or academic fields such as medicine, law, engineering, and business. ESP also courses focus on specialized vocabulary, discourse conventions, and also the skills required in these domains. In higher education, ESP has gained prominence as a way to equip students with the language proficiency necessary for success in their chosen careers. Or the rise of global job markets and international collaborations in academia has further increased the demand for ESP courses. So when we say ESP, it emphasizes a more focused practical approach to learning, teaching language, and ensuring students acquire the communication skills required for this specific professional context. Like, for example of this is that in the medical, some of it in the nurses that applied abroad, before they will be one of the requirements for applying abroad is that they need to take an English, the ELT English, something like that, examination for them to pass as one of the requirements. Like, for example, if they are applying to become a nurse in the United States of America or Australia, they need to pass that ELT, I think the IELTS examination. That is English as something proficiency. It's because it can be proved that when they are passed into that examination, the English examination, it can be proved that they are qualified. It's because they came from different country. And also, it is a part of them also to adjust if they will going to be employed into other country, which uses another language. So that is one of the requirements. So another trend is the multilingualism. Okay, multilingualism and cultural awareness. So what is that? Recognizing the value of students' native languages and cultures. So as what I have given an example a while ago, in my school, in the City College of Davao, our majority of our schools, I think in 60% of our students came from different cultures, different languages, with different languages or native in their native languages. So they use this as a native language. So knowing the fact that in the Philippines, we are comprised of different languages. We cannot only speak Filipino language or Tagalog language. When you went to other places, when you went to other region, it has a different language or dialect that we are using. So me as an educator, having a student with diverse languages or native languages, I have also to value their languages or adapt their language. So what I did is that my students, I integrate a nursery rhyme, an itsy bitsy spider. We translate it to English and then translate into the different languages that the students are familiar with. So we are singing, and before we start our class, we are singing 5 different dialects or languages of spider. Start from the English and down to the native language of my students, for them also to be recognized and value their native languages. So aside from that, promoting intercultural communication skills. So in this, okay, through translating the itsy bitsy spider into song, nursery rhyme, into the native language of my students, it made them also confident that they value their language, their dialect. And so we promote that. It's because what makes the school unique? What makes your school unique? This is what I have said to my student. What makes City College unique? And what they have said is that, okay, ma'am, it's because, okay, we are diverse. We are inclusive. It's because we are in an inclusive education. We are diverse. We are comprised of students with different languages, different native languages, and different cultures. And that's what makes our school unique. Next question is that how multilingualism enriches the learning environment. Okay. When we say multilingualism and cultural awareness, as an English becomes more widely used around the world, there is a growing recognition of importance of multilingualism and cultural awareness in language education. The global nature of communication means that learners are likely to encounter a diverse range of languages and cultures. In higher education, this trend has led to greater emphasis on developing not only proficiency in English, but also an understanding of other languages and cultural contexts. Language programs are increasingly incorporating elements of cultural competence, encouraging students to appreciate cultural differences and navigate linguistic diversity. So my school can be one of the example of this, that appreciating the different cultural differences. So what we did is that we do have an Indigenous People Day or the IP Week or IP Month, wherein, okay, our students showcasing different talents and also dancing into their different cultures. And this trend reflects the need for future professionals to engage in global conversations with sensitivity and adaptability. Okay, next trend is the assessment and okay, another trend is the learner-centered approaches. This is what I have always said, the learner-centered approaches. Okay. To become more an effective teacher or effective educator, inside the classroom, it is not only that the teacher will speak or consume the 1 hour in this subject, but I also believe that being a learner-centered approach is one of the effective ways to make our students more likely a globally competitive graduate. Okay, next. Okay, for a while. Okay, what do you mean by learner-centered approach?
Hello, Miss. Are you okay? Okay, like she is having trouble again with internet connection, maybe. Okay. Yes, she's back. Hello, Miss Cindy.
Hello, sorry. My internet again. Okay. Sorry. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, next is the learner-centered approach. So what do you mean by learner-centered approach? For me as an educator, it is one of the most essential approach of being an educator. It's because in this approach, it gives the students also the so in this approach also, it gives the student to become more qualified and also to become more independent in terms of learning. It's just, I believe that not only being a teacher, it is more likely the teacher is the center of all the learning. But I believe also that the students also has an impact in terms of being an one of the strategies of the teacher that the students also were going to share their insights. I do believe that, or we call that one the student-driven learning. Okay, when we say learner-centered approach, learner-centered approaches have shifted to the focus of English language teaching from the teacher to the student. As what I have said, it is more likely lesser discussion from the teacher, but more on the student-centered approach or student-driven learning so that the student will explore, analyze, and interpret. And this approach emphasizes the active involvement of learners in the educational process, promoting autonomy and self-regulation and personalized learning paths. In higher education, the move toward learning centeredness supports the diverse needs of students, allowing them to take control of their language learning journey. And students also engage in setting goals, choosing learning materials, and participating in collaborative projects. So if you notice, if you are an educator and then you let your students participate, okay, will become independent. The last one is, okay, I think I almost, yeah, I have read that doc. I think I have almost consumed the time of discussing. Is it okay if I will just summary on it? Okay, the last one is the assessment and feedback innovations. These innovations in assessment and feedback practices have been central to the evolution of the English language teaching in higher education. So that is the seventh trend. I will just summarize it. It's because I almost consumed the time. And then the last one is the global collaboration and networking. So when we say global collaboration and networking, with the rise of the globalization, there has been an increased emphasis on cross-border collaboration and networking in English language teaching. virtual exchanges such as programs, international webinars, just like this one, international webinars, and collaboration projects allow students and educators to connect and learn from each other in real time, fostering global perspectives. So that ends my presentation. I'm so sorry. It's because I almost consumed the time for the other presenter. So any questions? Do you have an A questions? Do you have an A concern or questions with regard to my presentation? So once again, thank you so much. So that is the 8 trends of the global trends in English language teaching for higher education. So thank you and good day.
Thank you very much, Miss Cindy, for the 8 global trends in teaching ALT. Yeah. And no worries that you have done your presentation really well. And the question and answer session will be at the end after the third speaker today. So please stay with us, Miss Cindy.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and for all the participants, if you have any question for Miss Cindy, you may write them down in the chat box or may ask directly in the end of the session, and the Q&A session, I mean. Thank you. So, Miss Cindy have shared about 8 trends in English language teaching for higher education, from CLT to learner autonomy, and about the transformation and etc. And now we are going to move to the next speaker. We have Miss Gita Hastuti from Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana. She is a lecturer at the English Language Education Program, known in Indonesian as Prodi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris or PPI, at the Faculty of Language and Arts, Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana Salatiga. She has been teaching there for 21 years. Her interests are in grammar, culture, teachings, approaches, motivation, and learner autonomy. Today, she will discuss about global trends in the English language teaching learning approaches. And Miss Gita, please proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Satya. Can you all hear my voice?
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, please allow me to share my slides. So thank you, Miss Cinderella. How should I call you? Miss Cinderella?
Hello, Doc. You can call me Cindy. It's because Cinderella is
Oh,
too
okay.
fairy tale.
Okay, thank you, Miss Cindy, for opening our discussion today with the global trends in English education, yeah, especially for the higher education. Today, after some meditation, so I decided to talk about specifically about learning approaches, yeah, teaching learning approaches in the English language education. Oh, wait a sec. So this is the title of my sharing today. It's Global Trends in the English Language Teaching Learning Approaches. As explained earlier, my name is Gita. I'm a lecturer at the English Language Education Program at Satya Wacana Christian University. So again, this is my focus. So I will not talk about a lot of things, but I will just focus on these teaching learning approaches that I actually draw from the needs. Yeah, so I'd like to take all of you to see the generations nowadays. We have from, yeah, this is the lost generation from 1883 to 1900. Okay, let's focus on this one. Generation Z or people.
Sorry for interrupting. I think that your screen is not viewed like fully. It's just you need to full screen your screen. Yeah.
It's full screen already. Wait a second.
Yeah. We just only can see partially of your screen.
Maybe I will just reshare. Oh, my screen sharing is paused. Is it clear?
Yes, we can see it now.
Let me try the full screen. Okay.
It's already seen perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, if we talk about higher education, then our target audience will be Generation Z nowadays. Yeah, it's the Zoomers, the people who were born between 1997 to 2012. So they will be around 13 to 27 years old now. So let us see some characteristics of Gen Z. I'm taking this from Kathleen Nato. She is a content marketing manager. So she is observing Gen Z from the marketing manager point of view. Yeah, how they behave and their status in their life. So let us see some 12 characteristics of Gen Z. She says that they are hitting life milestones. They are approaching their adulthood. So some of them are higher education students. Yeah. And some other are still teenagers. So they are approaching the adulthood. And then they are pragmatic about work. They will seek opportunities that align with their personal values and goals and offer growth and satisfaction. So we can also see that they like activities that value their personal goals and growth. Yeah, so we believe that people are very fond of being appreciated, right? So if their activities really value their beliefs, their goals, their interests, then they will like to do that. And then the next one is they are prone to anxiety. This is related to mental health issue. Yeah, nowadays we heard a lot about mental health issues. Even in the workplace, they require situations that are very friendly for them, and hopefully with no hard situations. Yeah, no hard problems, no difficult problems, because it might influence their health issue. Okay, and then the next characteristic is they are into saving and investing. This is something good because they care about their finance. They love to travel. They value experiences, preferring outdoor adventures and unique cultural activities. So they like learning about cultures too. And then they care about their fitness. They mostly do healthy diets. And then the next one is they believe more on systemic solutions rather than individual actions when it comes to environment. So rather than taking actions by themselves, they tend to put their hopes on the government's actions. They define diversity, equity, and inclusion differently. They will link these three, diversity, equity, and inclusion, with workplace initiatives and mental health. Again, yeah. And then they regard social media as important for consuming content and staying connected. Oh, Is my slide not presenting properly?
Yeah, same here, Miss. Like, I think it is stuck.
Oh, all right. Yay. Maybe it's better this way. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's better this way. I will not show it in a full screen. Okay, so we have come to the ninth characteristic. Gen Z regards social media as important for consuming content and staying connected. So they will look for content. They will also make content, and they will also use the social media to stay connected with other people. Okay. And then the next characteristic is that they like the intimacy provided by podcasts. Here it is meant that they like the deep engagement with the content in the podcast. And it also reflects that they really long for community-centric experiences. Yeah, they like to be in a community. Maybe that way they will feel safe, yeah, and they can express themselves safely. And then the next one, they view gaming not as mere entertainment, but as a social and educational activity. So they like playing games, and this is usually an interaction games where they can also interact with other players in a um, live, yeah, meaning that they can they play it at the same time, and they can interact directly with other players. And they also see gaming as an educational activity. They can learn the language there, for example. They can learn life skills, or they also develop skills through gaming. And then the last one from Caitlin Nato is they have Gen Z have got big hopes for AI. And we know that artificial intelligence is now trending, and Gen Z use this AI for problem solving, conducting research, unleashing creativity. Ms. Cindy has also talked about AI and the use of technology. So yeah, based on these characteristics, we will see the implications of these characteristics of the needs of the students here for the teaching learning process. And again, I will focus on the approaches only. And this time, I decided to talk about these three only. Yeah. The first one is differentiated learning because, yeah, of course, even though they are Gen Z, included in Gen Z, but they individually they are different. Yeah, they also feel differences in themselves, in other people. So the approach of differentiated learning can be a trend in the teaching learning process. And here we encourage learner autonomy, helping the students to be responsible to for their own study. Okay, and by considering their motivation, then their learning styles, their learning strategies, and then in the teaching learning process, we can also use multiple intelligences approach, where we can also vary our techniques in the teaching learning process to meet the students' needs, especially in the multiple intelligences by Howard Gardner, yeah, like musical, logical, mathematic, language, or verbal, linguistic, and so forth. Okay, and then the next approach that we can use is communicative language teaching approach. This is also reviewed by Ms. Cindy earlier. Um, I'd like to highlight that sometimes there is a misconception or misassumption in the use of communicative language teaching approach. Some teachers might only focus on fluency rather than accuracy, and sometimes they forget or they ignore accuracy. As long as the students can speak fluently, then accuracy doesn't matter. Sometimes teachers think like that, but it is actually incorrect. Yeah, in communicative language teaching approach, both accuracy and fluency are important. Okay, and the purpose of learning the language is actually for communication. So not only memorizing, not only trying to apply the rules in sentences, but it is hoped that the students can also use the language in their communication, both oral and written communication. And here we also need to introduce the students to varied Englishes because, yeah, Gen Z like to travel, right? They will meet various people with various languages, various native languages. And when they speak English, then they will have some accents. They will probably pronounce words differently. So we need to introduce them to the possibilities of these variations in English. And the communication purpose needs to be practiced in the classroom. Yeah, so the classroom activities also need to be communicative, not only memorizing things and then writing and then doing some written exercises, but we need to encourage them to interact with other students in class using the target language, which is English in this case, right? And then we can also bring the students outside to meet other people and practice their English with these other people. And in our case, hopefully I can share you this. Yeah. These are some examples in PBE in my body. So this is the in-class activity, for example, so that you are encouraged to interact with other friends. Okay, doing some games that encourage them to communicate, and then they are also sometimes they are also taken to. In this example, it's in Starbucks where they practice their English in ordering the foods and the drinks, and then they also practice the difference in playing games company at the time. And then they also have English Fun Fair. Where they will host an event for public. So we invited other people to come to this. The students prepared some games and then also sell some foods, and they will offer in the games. Okay, so those are just some example of activities inside and outside of class. And then the next approach is the use of technology, of course, because Gen Z is very tech savvy, right? They use cell phones a lot. they use technology a lot. So in our teaching learning process, then probably we can also make use of the technology to help us, to help them learn English and also to communicate using English through technology. For example, gamification. Now we can create some games, probably using Kahoot, WordWall, quizzes, EducaPlay, and CERN, and any kinds of softwares like that. And this is to make the learning more fun, and hopefully they can also learn the language in a fun way, and it can last longer. And then we can also provide some AI aided activities like GenCraft, for example. So they are asked to create a picture that or to create a story accompanied with some pictures generated from AI, things like that. Okay, so these are some approaches, trending approaches that are generated from the needs now, from the Gen Z needs in learning English. So I think that's what I'd like to share. Thank you for listening. Should you have any questions or need clarification on anything we discussed, so please don't hesitate to ask later. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Gita, for your valuable insight. A lot of new insight that I got from your sharing session today, like from 12 generation Z characteristic, also about the 3 approaches that you brought today. Okay, thank you very much, and stay with us for the Q&A session.
Okay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the next speaker, our final speaker, Miss Wahyuni Sachria, M.Pd, from Universitas Borobudur, Jakarta, Indonesia. Miss Sri is an experienced English instructor and content moderator with expertise in translation, transcription, and content creation. She holds a master's degree from Unindra PGRI Jakarta, specializing in English education. With over 5 years of teaching experience, she has worked as a TOEIC instructor at YRC University Jakarta. Her major lecturing subject include TOEIC preparation, and then general English, maritime English, and TOEFL preparation. Ms. Sri research interests focus on classroom action, research, and student needs analysis, and she has authored several educational books, such as General English for Semester 3 or 5 and buku Praktek Bahasa Inggris Semester 4. And now, she will share about learner autonomy from extrinsic motivation to intrinsic motivation. Ms. Wahyuni, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to be able to share my experience here. Let me share my my slides. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, from both speakers, we have learned so much about the trends of, the global trends in English language teaching for higher education. We have heard so many theory and example about the teaching, the language teaching for higher education, and now I'm going to focus on learner autonomy from extrinsic motivation to intrinsic motivation. Without further ado, I'm going to start with my explanation. So the first question is why I choose this topic, because I see the impact of technology in learning. I see many students use application and they do what I call self-technology exploration without teachers monitoring. They do this self-technology exploration outside the classroom. No, but not understand. They know they can do things alone, but they don't understand that these things need to be optimized. They can do many things, even it can help them to have a better professional life in the future. And then it's also the mind of the 21st century era, because the students now are expected to be independent. Here are some theoretical review about learner autonomy. Halleck, the father of learner autonomy, defined autonomy ability to take charge of one's own learning. And then Vygotsky says that learner autonomy is related to socio-cultural theory, which highlights the importance of self-regulation and scaffolding in learning. And then Deci and Ryans also come up with self-determination theory, or STD, that suggests that autonomy, competence, and relatedness are fundamental psychological needs that drive motivation and learning. It's still more about the theory about learner autonomy. So Jack Richards said that learner autonomy refers to the principle that learners should take a maximum amount of responsibility for what they learn and how they learn it, and make learning more personal and focused, and consequently achieve better learning outcomes, since learning is based on learners' needs, preferences. And then, in order to help learners to assume greater control over their own learning, it is important to help them to become aware and identify the strategies that they already use or could potentially use. So that's some some theory about learner autonomy. So we can see here that learner autonomy is quite important in this era. This is more literature about the autonomy, learner autonomy. Autonomy is a situation in which the learner is totally responsible for all the decision and concern with his or her learning and the implementation of those decisions. The last one is autonomy is essentially a matter of learner psychological relation to the process and content of learning. So autonomy learner means that they should feel satisfied with their own choice. And now, what is extrinsic motivation? Extrinsic motivation refers to the drive to do something in exchange for a reward that's separate from the pure enjoyment of the task. So at the first, students want to do something because of something. We give them rewards, we give them praise, we give them score, right? But at the end, they have to realize that they have to do things because they're needs. Extrinsic motivation also refers to behavior that is driven by external rewards. For example, someone who plays football regularly because they are paid for play football will be said to be extrinsically motivated. And then Sandstrom also say extrinsic motivation involves doing something to obtain something. And then another expert say that extrinsic motivation, it refers to action driven by external rewards such as money, praise, or fame, rather than internal satisfaction. So this is the first, the starting point why students want to do something. And then what is intrinsic motivation? Intrinsic motivation, according to Ryan and Deci, define intrinsic motivation as getting an activity done because of its inherent satisfaction. And then Wolfgang states that intrinsic motivated individuals do not need to existence of incentive, punishments, and any extrinsic factors because the activity itself is rewarding naturally. Armbrot students said that students who are intrinsically motivated may engage in an activity because it gives them pleasure, help them develop their skills they think that are important, and is ethically and morally the right thing to do. So, in my opinion, learner autonomy is a process that is started with the desire to obtain something. And then it gradually will drive the learner to self-learning satisfaction. What are the benefits of learning autonomy? First, enhance motivation, improve critical thinking because they at first they're looking for something. Teacher asks them to do something, but in the end, because they feel that they need that, it will improve their skill. It will improve their critical thinking skill. Better retention and understanding because they see the needs in learning a certain point. And then preparation for lifelong learning because they want to learn something new. Automatically, they will prepare themselves for lifelong learning. Not only for current situation, but also for their future situation. Another benefit of autonomous learner is improves academic performance because they feel happy when they learn something. They have They have the need to help themselves to be successful in their academic performance, and then builds confidence and self-efficacy because they find they find techniques that is suitable for them to be able to be success in their academic performance, encourages adaptability in learning because they will try and try again to find out the the technique that is suitable for their successful, and then prepare students for lifelong learning. What should we do as a teacher to foster learner autonomy? First, we have to set a learning path. Still, we have the we have a very important role in helping students to be learner autonomy, and then self-assesses progress, give learner options. So we don't set one thing for the students, but we give them alternatives. Let them choose which one that is suitable for their needs. And then use learner generated content. So the content of the material that we use in teaching should, should involve the students' need. We can ask the students what they want to learn. Take responsibility for learning. This is very important because they learn for themselves. They don't learn for the sake of their parents. Their success is not depend on their parents. Their success in the future depend on their efforts. And then strategies for independent learning. Still, we need to have control that. So we can ask them. We can play our role as consultant, and then get learners to take risks. This is also quite difficult for students. In my experience, they are reluctant to take risks. For example, if they answer my questions, they're afraid of making mistakes. In the future, when they have to work or when they go to their professional life, they have to be able or they have to dare to take risks. So this is the role of teachers in developing autonomous learner autonomy. First, we have to become, it's not have to, but I recommend it that we become facilitator rather than sole providers of knowledge. So we apply learner-centered teaching, as Miss Gita already mentioned, and also Miss Cindy mentioned there, right? Because this, what's it here? This teaching mode becoming the major teaching trend. Teachers are transforming their traditional and indirectional role as knowledge provider into the active participants, monitors, and consultants and guides. So we are no longer the sole person or the primary source in the classroom. We can share, or we can ask the students to share what they get, to share what they know, to share their knowledge. And then creating a supportive learning environment facilitates active participation and engagement for all students. And then characterized by trust and respect between students and teachers. Still remembers that they have to respect out their teachers. This is traditional, but it is very important for this situation, for this era. And then encouraging the independent problem solving. Problem solving skill is very important. If students cannot find or they cannot solve their problem at the first time, so they cannot develop their critical thinking skill. So learning problem solving has many benefits, including developing critical thinking skill, creativity, and working collaboratively. Why? Because if they cannot find the answer, they can ask their friend. They can work together with their friends to find the answer to the problem. It can be done in PBL, project-based learning. In that PBL process, they will think something, they will find the problem that they have at that time, and then they will discuss with their friends how to solve the problem. They will creatively find the solutions. They will discuss together. And then it can also help build resilience as individuals learn to overcome setbacks and failures. So several days ago, there's a news very viral that some companies, they fired their Gen Z employees because they are not ready with the situation in the office, right? And I don't want this happen to our students, correct? And then giving constructive feedback. So we have to unlocking students' potential. We have to make them to realize that they have a very great potentials that they can develop, and then provides with intention of producing a positive result. It means growth, improvement, and lesson learned. What are the challenges in implementing learner autonomy? The first is resistance to change. Who doesn't want to change? Sometimes the teacher, sometimes the student, right? So resistant to change. So many of us comfortable, or many teachers feel comfortable with traditional teachings, which we have to, start to move. Yeah, start to move our teaching technology, our teaching methodology to new ones. I think Miss Gita already mentioned some previously. And then lack of discipline among learners. This has happened to the students. So effective autonomous learning requires skills such as time management. Many of my students come late to the class with any kind of reasons, right? So we have to help them to reduce this habit. And then goal setting, self-assessment, which many students have not developed. So we have to help them. We have to help our student or train our student to be able to set their goal. If they want, what are they going to learn in this material, for example? And then they have to be able to do self-assessment. And then balancing structure and flexibility. Student will require guidance and support from instructor. And then this is also the, other challenges, that is cultural and institutional constraints. Some educational cultures emphasize teacher authority. Higher education institutions often follow rigid curricula and assessment structures. They may not support students' autonomy. And then technology barriers. Not all students have equal access to digital resources. Some here, yeah, not all. Okay. And then this is a success story from self-directed learner or learner autonomy. Is it? Do we have enough time to play this video? Only 2 minutes.
Okay, ma'am, you have the time.
Okay, let me stop share first.
Math and science and writing through my own accord, I guess would be the way to word it. You know, I wanted to, I had to, and so that was on me. If I didn't want to go through all the lessons on Khan Academy, then I wouldn't have learned it. If I didn't want to, I wouldn't have gotten a good enough SAT score if I didn't want to.
Khan is a big resource for me. I actually got my SAT score at 50 points with Khan, and I just took their SAT course. But outside of that, I did Kumon as well, which was really beneficial. And then for writing, I kind of went on my own for that one. So Grammarly, honestly, was a huge help. Like, it does it for you, but it really did just teach me like the best ways to do that. And storytelling is a really good resource because even if it's not directly focused on grammar, it always comes back to that.
I think I learned math and writing through my peers. Like, we were all able to bounce ideas off each other and kind of like problem solve together. And for Khan, specifically for math, I was able to use multiple resources outside of Khan, like YouTube, taking notes, asking my peers around me, or the Khan videos themselves. And then for writing, it was more of just trial and error and sending it to a grading network, getting that feedback from college experts, and then being able to implement that back into my writing to get better every time.
We send our stuff to experts and then they send it back, you know, with critiques and whatever. And there are some great writers in the class who also, you know, have taken high level, you know, writing courses and that are able to teach us what they've learned. So I've learned writing through, you know, peer feedback almost purely.
For learning math and writing, we used a lot of Khan Academy. I also had a tutor for a little while in math. I feel like math is something I really struggle with. And having YouTube videos, talking to my peers, the Khan videos, and working with a tutor was the best way for me to learn math. I think I really got to take it at my own timing, which is a big part of the model of this school, and that really worked for me. Khan just across the board. Also, tutoring for me has always been an outlet, but mainly Khan. And then for reading, Grammarly, and also using like Grade Network, when you send your essays to them, they can tell you what you can improve on. They also grade your essays for you. And it's like, I feel like that is also a very good outlet too, because you get to learn from experts.
Okay, so from video, we just see that some examples of the use learner autonomy, how they learn by themselves. They come up with different kind of they use different kind of sources to help them to help them to understand something, right? So the conclusion is, number one, the need for a shift towards learner-centered education. So fulfill students need to be ready for global challenge, right? Because in the future, they have to be able to help themselves. They have to be able to solve the problem that they have when they are working. And then they also need to find out the best way or the best technique to their for their own self-satisfaction in learning. And then promoting motivation, right? So the first time, maybe the students feel that if they follow what their teacher, they follow their teacher instruction, they will get something. But gradually, after they do the teacher's instructions, they feel something that is important, and they feel that it is very satisfaction, and they feel it is it fulfill their needs. So at the end, it will become intrinsic motivation. If they do something, it no longer because of something, because of the praise, because of the money, but they feel satisfaction in that. And then promoting motivation, critical thinking, and lifelong learning, and then encouraging teachers and institutions to support autonomy. I agree with what Miss Gita does in her campus. I mean, so they have a lot of activities, right, that facilitate the students to work together, to work to collaboratively do something. So give more space to students to explore their maximum potential within teachers' guidance. Remember that because we are their teacher, we still need to be able to control them, especially in their skills, right? So communicative approach, or what's it here? Communicative learning approach, which is focused on fluency, also need to focus on accuracy, right? If they can speak well, but the accuracy is very bad, also they cannot, what is it here? They cannot involve in global challenge, right? And then technology integration, like it or not, we have to integrate the technology. We need to learn more about technology. Teachers are partners for students. Yeah, teachers are partner of students. A trusted agent in helping students to become a learner autonomy. Students will listen more to the teacher than to their parents. Everybody agree? Does everybody agree with my statement that many students, they trust their teacher more than their parents? They will follow your instructions, especially if the instructions, they feel that, for example, they feel that our guidance or our information is useful for them and can help them to what is it here, to increase their academic performance, then they will listen to us more, right? We have to equip students with the skills necessary to navigate their learning journey successfully, right? So if we talk about our generation now, there still need to be shaped in certain areas. For example, they have to be able to take risk for their learning activity, right? It's not the teacher's responsibility anymore to shape their learning strategies. Let them explore what is suitable for themselves in learning. So here in this part, we only become the controller, the monitor. We only need to monitor. We only need to guide them, right? So when they feel they need someone to talk about, they will come to us. That's why we have to be able to become a trusted agent in helping students. Okay, I think that's all. I think that's all from me. Hopefully, it can, what is it here? It can give more insights for everybody about global trends in teaching language, in English language teaching for higher education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Sri, for the insight, for the discussion about the learner's autonomy specifically, and the motivation, intrinsic motivations, about the promoting that students should choose their own learning style, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we are moving to the Q&A session. I have seen that there are two questions in the chat box. I will try to read the first question first. And if there any one of these participants who want to ask directly, just use the raise hand button and I will call your name and you can convey your question. So thank you very much, Miss Sri. And I will call all of the speaker here. Okay, can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the first question is from Chandra Devi for Miss Javier. With the rise of artificial intelligence in education, how can AI tools be effectively utilized to enhance language assessment and feedback without diminishing the role of human instructors? Miss Cindy, are you still here with us?
Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Okay, thank you for that question. Once again, she threw me a question with this, with the rise of artificial intelligence in education, how can AI tools be effectively utilized to enhance language assessment and feedback without diminishing the role of human instructors? Very challenging question. Okay, so with the rise of artificial intelligence in education, it offers significant potential to enhance language assessment and feedback. But it's important also to use these tools effectively without undermining the essential role of human instructors or the educators or the teachers inside the classroom. So I can cite a 5 examples of it. For example, personalized learning. AI can tailor language assessments to individual learners, adjusting a difficulty and focus based on their progress. This also will allows for a customized approach that can address the specific needs of each student, which might be difficult for instructors to manage at scale. And also AI can provide instant feedback on grammar, vocabulary, and sentence structure, allowing students to learn from mistakes in real time. Another one is that efficient in scoring and feedback. AI also can assist in automating the grading of certain aspects of language assessment, such as grammar and vocabulary, freeing up human instructors to focus on more nuanced aspects like writing style, creativity, or communicative effectiveness. And this also improves efficiency while maintaining the instructor's role in providing a qualitative and motivational feedback. Another one is that I cited the language practice and interaction. It powered chatbots and conversation simulators can offer students practice in speaking and writing in the target. And the fourth one is that instant feedback and continuous monitoring. It can monitor student progress in real time, offering immediate feedback on assessment. Next is the support for diverse learners. So one of the purpose of the AI, considering the fact that in a classroom, we have a different learners or diverse learners. Some of it are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So with the use of the AI, it can support diverse learners. And the last one is that enhanced data analysis for instructors. This can collect and analyze large amounts of data to provide instructors with insights into students. So with the role of the human instructors, despite of AI's capabilities, human instructors remain crucial for providing emotional support. So even if that AI exists in the education, but the main focus of the human instructors is to remain crucial for providing emotional support that sometimes AI cannot. Interpreting the broader context of language learning and facilitating critical thinking and creativity. So I say that even if how we are in a world of technologies, evolving with technologies with regards to AI. But as what I have said into my students, that the most effective instructional material is the teacher. Okay, does it answer your questions? Okay, thank you, Kandra.
Thank you, Miss Cindy, for the answer. I hope that it will answer Sandra's question. Okay, thank you. Now, there is another question in the chat box, but yeah, it's about TOEFL, I think, from Miss Ayu TV. Is this question addressed to Miss Sri? Because like in previous short bio, Miss Sri is one of TOEIC or TOEFL instructor. So I bet that this question is addressed to Miss Sri. So the question is, what are your tips for studying for the TOEFL ITP and TOEFL ATP and exam? Yes. So you may answer the question.
Okay, thank you for the question. It's very interesting question, yeah. And it always become a questions, right? Because many students want to be able to be successful in their international standardized tests. The first one is you have to take preparation courses, right? Many institutions provide that kind of programs. And then after that, you need to practice a lot. Make yourself accustomed to the kind of the test, right? So you can either let's say, practice this online, right? There are so many websites that you can use for helping you practice or doing the tests by yourself, so you can manage or organize your learning pace by yourself. You don't need to depend on your teacher, or you don't need to depend on your tutor about this. And then see by yourself, assess by yourself about the progress, how many scores or what is the progress of the test that you have made so far. Okay, and then after that, if you are ready, you can take the tryout again online, right? So you see here that technology is very helpful for you. Even AI is very helpful for you, as long as you know what you need, as long as you find out what you need, right? You have to identify the goals first, okay? And then after that, you may start taking the test. Does it answer your question? Who asked the question?
Miss TV.
Tiwi, does it answer your question? Yes, thank you. Hopefully, you get good score, for good score for those tests, right? Because those tests are very important for your professional life in the future. Okay, so you can do many things through technology.
Thank you very much, Miss Sri, for the answer. Yeah, like we have discussed a lot of TOEFL or TOEIC tests, yeah, Miss Sri. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The main point is practice. If you don't practice, everything will be useless, right? So if you practice a lot, practice again and again, and then see the progress by yourself. If then you will what's it here? You will be successful in your test. That's what I did. So I practice a lot again and again and make myself accustomed to the to the test, the component of the test, right? So remember, practice makes perfect.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So like, is there any more question? Is there anyone want to ask directly? Okay, like while waiting for other question, I would like to ask to Miss Gita. From her presentation, like there is one point that it caught my interest. It is a multiple intelligence differentiate learning approaches. So, is there any tips for conducting an analysis to design a differentiate learning course space, considering that many various factors that must be taken into account?
Okay, that is also an interesting question. Yeah, differentiated learning is actually it's trending now, especially in high school. Yeah, we realize that students come with differences, and they also have their needs, right? Different needs, and probably they also have different learning styles, learning strategies, and so forth. So, let me share something. This is how we can conduct the differentiated learning. We can modify the content, perhaps but before that, we need to map the students first. Like, what is their learning style? What are their learning styles? What are their needs? And then what about their proficiency level and so forth? And then later in our design, we can try to modify one or two of these four. Okay, so it doesn't have to be all of them, but you can choose one or two of these four. Perhaps in one meeting, you can modify the content and the process, for example. Or in another meeting, you can modify the product, okay, the outcome of their learning. Probably some groups might make a poster, for example. Another one might create a song, for example, things like that related to the topic. So these are some ideas of how to conduct the differentiated learning. But again, we need to consider their readiness, okay, their interests and learning profile. So that's why we need to map the students first, their learning styles, their proficiency level, their learning strategies, their interests, and so forth, things like that. I hope that can help, Ms. Satya.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Gita. So that's for the preparation for the courses, right? So how about in assessing the student, since they are different, is there any tips for conducting the feedback or assessment?
Yeah, this is what I learned from another conference. So about the assessment, so probably we need to make a standard for everyone. So it's like a passing grade, yeah, the C for everyone. So everyone should meet the goals there, should reach that goal. But then other students with higher proficiency level can be assigned to higher or more difficult, more challenging tasks, and that can increase their grades later on, things like that. So then probably it is a modification of the outcomes, yeah, for the assessments.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Gita.
My pleasure.
So for all the participants, is there any more question for our experienced speaker here? Since there is no more question in the chat box, maybe we can conclude this webinar series today. So webinar series today have shared about discussion in the new approaches and also strategies to teach English for higher education, especially globally. And Miss Cinderella Javier have shared about 8 different learning approaches. Miss Gita have shared about 3 approaches, including differentiate learning, CLT approach, and the use of technology. And Ms. Wahyuni also have shared about the learning autonomy. So on behalf of Meira Visi Persada Foundation, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our distinguished speakers here, Ms. Cinderella, Ms. Gita, and Ms. Wahyuni, for the
Thank you.
time and also for the insight that you have shared today. And a big thank you as well to our wonderful audience and for your participation and engagement. After this, I will share the presents attendance. I will share the attendance list in the chat box. So make sure that you fill in the attendance list before you left the room. Okay, this webinar series is conducted by Meira Visi Persada Foundation. It is a foundation that works on research, training, and education that we aims to promote and also to enhance human resources by training and also the research and education itself. And this webinar series will be also take place in the next week with the theme of cybersecurity. So if you are interested in cybersecurity things that is viewed from law or economics or maybe the technological multidisciplinary things, you may attend the webinar series on 22nd February 2025. And now, if you want to know more about Meira Visi Persada Foundation, you may visit our website, meiravisippersada.org, and there are a lot of information about our foundation there. Okay, so with that, we officially conclude today's webinar and have a great day ahead. Thank you very much for joining today. See you. See you. Thank you, Miss Gita. Thank you, Miss Wahyuni.